To reflect on the literacy narrative rough draft, I would have to say the hardest part about writing it was memorizing details such as books I read and how they impacted my journey, as well as certain aspects of my childhood. Um, and also, for me, it was harder to make certain events that occurred interesting and to really paint the picture because I felt like a lot of the events I really had to some well not a lot but I'd say some of the events I felt like I had to exaggerate with detail a little bit and also deciding on which events to include and which not to because there are a lot of events that played a role in my reading and writing journal but I couldn't include all of them because my story would be too long as well. Being that I was free writing, um, I felt like it was harder to know where I was going and the direction of where I was gonna go with my writing, and um, yeah, and also allowing myself to flow um, and not overcorrect my work as I free wrote because I often would not really like what I wrote, but I had to accept that it was the rough draft. And um, I felt like I needed to round my conclusion more and describe more of how I started to drift away from reading and writing. Um, I felt like I didn't really go into that in depth in my conclusion, and tell more tell more of my reading and writing journal in middle school and high school because there were some events that impacted it, obviously. So I felt like I could have done a better job with that. So the corrections that I'm going to make are I'm definitely going to try to include events that occurred in my middle school and high school career, and I'm going to try to add more detail to what I wrote and specific events because I felt like a lot of it a lot of it wasn't as detailed as it should have been. I could have made it more of a story, um, and made it more engaging to the reader with just certain details. So yeah, that's my reflection on the literacy narrative rough draft.